Welcome to the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. I'm Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak. A beautiful day here at Gulfstream Park West. We have a fast main track, a firm turf course, 10 races on tap. We've got a couple of carryovers we want to tell you about. First one comes in the Rainbow Six, and there you see it, $6,000 plus. That's in races 5 through 10. We have a 10 race card this afternoon, but we also have a carryover in our Super High Five, and we'll show you that in just 1 second. The Super High Five is one that carries over, so it's going to start the day with about $2,000 in it, and it'll just go on and on from there. Once somebody gets 5 out of 5, it gets paid out, then it starts again, thus the rolling Super High Fives. Good afternoon, Katie. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. We actually have some rough news this morning in the horse world. Rockfall, a top sprinter from the Todd Pletcher barn, he was put down this morning. Very sad racing news, and I just want to send my condolences to the entire TAP team, and going to be a very sad piece missing from the Breeders' Cup this year. And hopefully we can have and move on and have a really great day here at Gulfstream Park West.
I think we will. And let's before we get into the Saturday card, let's see what's tweeting around the country. Maybe we'll get some good news in here. And the first one we got is about American Pharoah, who just had a recent workout.
He did. Looks like he's on track for the Breeders' Cup, and that's certainly something to get excited about. Worked pretty handily the other day, as did Beholder. Now that is something I cannot wait to see, is a matchup of these two just phenomenal horses going at it in a Breeders' Cup Classic at the end of the month. Hopefully everything will go according to plan with them. Beholder's going to ship a little bit earlier into Keeneland. American Pharoah might wait until the week of the race.
You know, jockeys are small in stature, but they got some big hearts. And here we got the Make-A-Wish Foundation helping out someone, and it's a pretty nice story.
I think this is great what Keeneland did earlier in the week. They had a Wish Kid Day. They had a bunch of children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, of course, that are suffering from potentially life-threatening illnesses. They came out to Keeneland. They each presented trophies in the winner's circle after races. Just what a lovely thing to do and see in racing.
Well, you and I raced off the stage yesterday to watch the performance of Lady Shipman. Just got beat at the wire. A really nice race there. Just looked like this horse got a little maybe tired and stretching something, that Lady Shipman, and just got nailed at the wire.
Well, she was pressing some pretty quick fractions there in that race. I thought she did not disgrace herself in the least. Narrowly beaten, and she drifted out, like I mentioned, pretty good in the stretch there. She was out in the 5 or 6 path. I hope she gets a chance to prove herself yet again in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint.
And trained, of course, by our local trainer here, Kathleen O'Connell. So good luck in the future with that horse. Now we'll get into Saturday's card. As I mentioned, we got a fast main track, a firm turf course this afternoon, and our first race is on that firm turf course. 7.5 furlongs. Claimers 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. And we do have one equipment note here. The number 6 horse, In Excess of This, is going to race with blinkers on this afternoon. A little later on, Pete Aiello, our track announcer, come on and update you about all the changes and scratches and the equipment changes you might need to have a winning day here. I went with the number 4 here, Katie, and I'll start with that one. Is a Caddy's Ice. This one is really plummeting to the $8,000 level. First start since finishing second, was only beaten a half length. It was against $30,000 condition claimers going a mile. It was over at Gulfstream Park. It was on June 26th. Antonio Sanu ready for a turn. Pretty solid 5 furlong drill over this track in 103 breezing, which is an okay move here at Gulfstream Park West. My concern, and I did put it on top, but why the drop? You know, it's a little bit of a concern for me, and is that the reason you have him not on top of your ticket?
That's exactly right, Ron. I really was concerned about that drop. Why? He ran so well last time out, and you know the horse that beat him is actually stakes placed, so I thought that was a pretty nice run to come back at such a low tag that it was a concern for me. Certainly looks to be the top horse on paper as a class edge, but I had to go in a different direction in terms of my top selection. So I went with the 8 Southern Stroll. Last time out, this one was fanned wide around the first turn before running on to finish second to a horse named East Rock. That day, that horse won his second straight, and that day, Southern Stroll also finished just ahead of Wildcat Kitten, who just came back to win a Gulfstream on closing day. So coming out of a very formful race, and I think he's going to sit the trip just behind the speed today.
I went also with the number 7, and that's Dixie Conqueror on my ticket. Cutting back today to this 7.5 furlong distance after breaking from the rail. Goes up and sets the pace of that race. Gets caught at the wire when finishing second. It was against similar competition, and it is at a mile. So this one looks like a catch me if you can performances in the cards for this horse. Looks like he's going to be up there on or near the lead, trying to steal this race in there. So I threw him on the ticket. I think he's third choice in the morning line at 5-1.
He is going to be part of that speed presence as well in excessiveness, who even gets the blinkers on today, so you know he's going to be going early.
Well, let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. They're going to a fast main track. It's a 6-furlong claimer. These are 3-year-olds and upward, non-winners of 3 races in life, or straight 3-year-olds in here. And we have 7 runners in this field with no scratches or jockey changes to report in here. And both Katie and I were looking towards the inside of the horse that's second on the morning line, and that is deciding moment. This one now in the Rashawn Creaky barn.
Yeah, making his first start off the claim for that barn. They do well with their new claims, very well. This one returned from a 5-month layoff and drew off by almost 4 lengths at this level on September 12th. I was pretty impressed by that. Gonna look to make it 2 in a row today, and I saw him as the lone speed among this group.
Yeah, that's why I was leaning that way too. And I'm just looking down now, and I see I did not use the morning line favorite in third. I didn't use the morning line favorite at all in here. I went with the 5 Royal Grant in second, who does his best running from off the pace. Will try and make it 2 in a row. He rallied from 11th and last time out to defeat $6,250 2 lifetime claimers. And I think that top 2 sets up one of those classic clashes between speed and closers. So we'll see how the track is playing. Right, this is the first main track race of the day. So, you start looking to see if there's any kind of track bias that you might want to use later on for the Rainbow Six or any of the other, wagers that you want to put together in here. So I threw the 5 in second. I see that you did too. And then you have the morning line favorite. I want to hear about this one.
You know what? I was actually very torn between using this horse or General Shama. I'm surprised to see him as the favorite, but he deserves a place on the ticket somewhere. He was a gaining third, only missed by a half length when going 5/8 in an off-turf event on September 18th. That came off a 4-month layoff. I look for him to be mid-pack today. Second start off the layoff. We'll see if he has a little bit more kick to get by.
Well, talking about that 7-horse General Shama, he's 2 for 6 in the money on this track, so a little bit of a horse for course play. Returns after rallying 3 wide to come within the neck of defeating Similar at this distance. He's another that can capitalize. If a speed duel that develops on the front end with deciding moment, and he fails to negotiate the distance, might set up for a horse like General Shama. And early on when I'm handicapping these races, I like to see horses that have run well in here in the past to come back and maybe use them on my ticket and use them again, and usually they run okay once they've had a win or a good performance over this track.
It's a key angle here at Gulfstream Park West, especially early in the meet, because there are a lot of horses that aren't familiar with the surface. But you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with General Shama, because yes, he's run well here, but my concern was that he's 0 for 7 at the distance.
Well, let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. We're going back to the firm turf course. It's 1 mile allowance, 3-year-olds and up. The purse is $39,000. Full field of 10 runners in this race, and you went with the number 5 horse in here, and that is Snow Trouble.
I really like this horse. He's a Tappet colt, going to debut in the U.S. today for trainer Todd Pletcher, also receiving Lasix for the first time and coming over from Europe. He's going to run with the lightest impost that he's ever carried, so getting a break in the weights as well compared to what he ran with in Europe. He's placed in 3 stakes over in Europe, in England, posted 2 straight bullets here at Palm Beach Downs since coming south from Monmouth. Seems to be thriving in South Florida, and I thought found a very good spot for his North American debut.
Yeah, good spot. It is Todd Pletcher, so, he's one I've been trying to beat him. We mentioned this over the last couple of days for his first, when the horses are making their first start over this track. And, sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it isn't. But I did like number 2, Metaphorically, who's turning back to a mile after its impressive 3-race win streak ended when he finished second to a hard-knocking horse called Charlie Mops. That was an entry-level allowance test that was going a mile into 16th. It was on a good turf course. Steve Town, Jonathan Gonzalez going to team up, and I just thought this off that performance, I'm going to try and beat the horse. That's going to be the logical favorite in here, the number 5 horse with Metaphorically. Who else did you use the 2, and you also used number 8 in there, and that is Island Dude.
Well, similarly to Metaphorically, he really hasn't done much wrong as of late. He's trying to go 3 in a row today for trainer Kathleen O'Connell. Defeated $25,000 claimers in early July. Doubled the claiming level. Came right back at the end of the month to defeat $50,000 claiming competition. Going to be coming from farther back today, but he turned in a bullet to turn up for this start.
Well, I hope I get 12-1 on number 10 Highland Warriors, a late running type who took the overland route last time out when running wide throughout, finishing second. That was in his crosstown finale at the distance. distance, and I think there's enough speed to break into his inside that'll help complement his running style today, and I think he's worth the flyer at a price, if he's up there at double-digit odds, at least to be on the exact or a trifecta ticket. The other horse, Katie, that I used on my ticket was the number 7 Whisper on the Wind. We've been talking about horse for course angles here. This one, 5 races on this turf course with 2 wins in the second. Returns, he rallied along the inside to finish 4th behind the horse I had on top of the ticket. That's Metaphorically and Highland Warrior. Both were in that race last time out. So I figure if I like those two, this one a change in scenery today to a turf course that it really likes. Maybe that can be the key to making this one spring the upset to 6-1 on the morning line. So going to try and beat Pletcher in here.
I think this would be an interesting race. I think there's a good amount of speed. I think the horse that holds the key is Black Martino, coming off short rest. And, gosh, this is a nice quality horse, but he confuses me because he sometimes goes to the lead. He sometimes comes from way out of it. Which Black Martino do you think we'll see today?
I loved him last time, and he didn't get the job done, so I didn't forgive him yet. So, but when I put my exacta trifecta ticket, I might throw him on the bottom of the ticket. Let's go to race number 4 today. 7 furlongs, maiden claimant. Fillies, 2-year-olds, $16,000 is the claimant tag. 8 runners in the field, and I went with a first-time starter in here, and that is Fist Bump. But I want to tell you that I'm not totally sold on this horse, and I'll tell you why. Making a career debut for trainer George Navarro with a strong local work tab showing. The concern of this barn is 0 for 8 with first-time starters. Doesn't do well with first-time starters. Their horses usually need a race or 2 before they run well. So I like the horse. I like the workout pattern, but I have to keep in mind that this barn is not known to fire at first guessing. That's not to say they can't.
With a strong work pattern, you have to have this horse somewhere on the ticket, but I had the same concern as you, which is why I put her in 3rd. Also, as a daughter of Leroy de Senemo, I thought she might want turf eventually down the road, but can't ignore the work pattern, especially since it's over this racetrack. But I just have one thing I got to do here.
What's that?
Fist bump.
Fist bump. There you go. You did go with the number 6 horse in here, and that's Let Love Rule.
I think this is one from the Juan Rodriguez barn that has just gotten better with distance, stepped up to this level, or stepping up from the $16,000 level on September 17th. This one ran her best race to date, finished 4th against $50,000 maiden claiming competition on the stretch out from 5.5 furlongs. Taking a class drop again to this level, the distance seems the same. The runner-up from her last race came back to break her own maiden in her next start at the $35,000 claiming level.
Yeah, we basically have the same charges, boxed around a little bit. The other horse that we both had in the ticket was the 4 Emma Missouri. This one is going to stretch out to 7 furlongs after responding last time out to those addition of blinkers with a game performance and going 6 furlongs, in which she, if you look at that race, she broke from post 12. She went up, she dueled for the lead, she weakened late, she finished 3rds against similar. Guess what? She was 50-1 last time out. Rory Miller's the trainer, and James Vale in the saddle this afternoon. So this horse, a big price last time out, and today you got to take him as the second choice. So that's going to be your decision in there. Race number 5, we mentioned this is where the Rainbow Six starts with $6,000 plus in the pool. 5 furlongs on the turf. It's an allowance in here. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. The purse for this race is $50,000. Scratch the 3, Lemon Point. Want to go back and show you performance of a horse that has been on fire, and that is the number 1, Perfect Step.
This is my favorite race of the day. What a nice group of stakes caliber fillies and mares in this race. I'm looking at Perfect Step here. This is the one. This is last time out. Kicks clear to a length and 3/4 victory, coming from just off the pace. Notches her 4th straight victory and first stakes win in the Hard Worker Stakes. This is from September 11th. She is on an absolute tear, looking for 5 in a row today. I loved how she stalked the pace on the turn back last time, and I think there's a good amount of speed in this race as well. She can employ that same strategy successfully.
Well, I love a horse in here today, and that's the horse I have on top of my ticket, Katie's Kiss. And when you see my pick 5 ticket later on and my Rainbow Six ticket, this horse is singled on him. I am going against the horse that's won on. And I'll tell you why. Turn it back to her most accomplished distance thus far. She's had 5 races at the distance with 2 wins, the second and the third. She went up. She set the pace last time. She just got nipped at the wire. That was in the 1 mile, $150,000 Florida Sire Jewel Princess. I thought it was a great performance. David Forks, Eddie Castro returning on the. This is a previous stakes winner at this distance. Who did she beat in that last race? When she was at 5 furlongs? Waska. So I'm going with with Katie's Kiss on top of my ticket. And, you know, you have to single somewhere along the line. Most people are going to say, Ron, you're not singling in this race with a horse like Perfect Step. And also in here, the number 8 horse in here, Akina.
Well, you know what? Just from a pace perspective, the scratch of Lemon Point helps speed horses like Katie's Kiss and Akina. They will not have as much pace to contend with on the front end with the scratch of that one. So that works in your favor as well. Akina, one that you know, again, going to be on the lead, as well as with another one in here, Catching Fireflies. This one absolutely loves South Florida. She really put in some impressive performances at Gulfstream during the championship meet. This is going to be her first time running here at Gulfstream Park West, but coming in off an allowance at Parks, a win that day. Then she was, before that, narrowly beaten in a stake up at Monmouth. So we'll see how she runs today for Jane Sabelli.
Yeah, and she's a 7-time winner at the distance, and Jane Sabelli started a horse yesterday and won. So the barn is doing okay very early in the Gulfstream Park West meeting. So that is race number 5. Once again, remember, that's where the Rainbow Six starts. The pick 5, the final pick 5 of the day, starts in race number 6. 5.5 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-olds. Blinkers on the number 8 horse in here, Silver Wraith. And we're going to go back and show you a performance of a Game Lad, a horse that I had second. Katie has right on top of our ticket, and this race was back on September 6th.
Game Lad was certainly game in his debut. Almost gets by the leader, who just had the edge that day. Was very game in his own right in winning this race. Duels to the wire, career debut. You see the horse to the inside, drifting a little bit. Not the easiest of trips. Actually, it comes out a good bit, and I think maybe Game Lad could have had a straighter going and got up in this race. You never know, but I thought it was a very positive career debut. All 3 of his siblings are multiple winners, and I had to give him the tiny edge, tiniest of edges over Kokomo Wildcat because he trains here over the surface.
Well, let's talk about Kokomo Wildcat. It was impressive in defeat. He dueled in that race from start to finish, was beaten only a half length. That was his 5.5 furlong career debut. That was on the sealed sloppy track. Larry Pilati, Eddie Castro returning on this son of Wildcat Air. So a couple of really nice horses in there. Who else did you use on your ticket?
I used Wonder Frolic. This one is debuting today for trainer Milton Wolfson. He's the first foal to make it to the races out of the Vindication mare Romantic Frolic, a son of Awesome, of course. We know how well Awesome, of course, is due first time out. They're young and precocious, especially here in South Florida. And the Milton Wolfson barn really heating up. 43% winners in the past month, 3 wins from just 7 starters. I like the works this one's turning a bullet on October 7th.
That's Milt Wolfson, not Marty Wolfson. A lot of people get them confused, and they're not related, just to let you know. I want to talk about the number 8 in here, Silver Wraith. This one is turning back to 5.5 furlongs after shipping down from Monmouth to finish 4th. That was against this caliber competition, going 6.5 furlongs. That was across town at Gulfstream Park. Son of Ghost Zapper signals intentions. 3 furlong bullet work at Palm Meadows and 35 flat. And as I mentioned, going to race with blinkers on this afternoon. So I think that's a big plus for this horse. I like that current workout over at our training facility, Palm Meadows. So number 8, Silver Wraith, I believe, 3rd choice on the morning line, through that one on the ticket. Race number 7 this afternoon is a 5 furlong turf event. These are maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and up $12,500. We're going to have 10 runners in the field. We got 1 scratch in here of number 2, Lady Nura. I went with the 7 horse, Katie, in here, and that's C. Charlie Run. This one, I believe, should be primed and ready to score. Returned from a layoff last time out. Showed a fondness for sprinting on the grass when she chased the pace, and she finished 2nd at this level and distance. So I just thought of that performance. I'd put this one on top. I believe it's 8-1 on the morning line or something like that. So why not have number 7, See Charlie Run, on top of my ticket?
Why not? Gotta love the value there that you're getting on the morning line at 8-1. I ended up with the favorite. That's the 8, Starship Senorita. Ran for a tag for the first time in her last start. That was on September 17th, but she didn't really get a chance to show her class because she didn't take to a sloppy main track that day. She was well beaten, and also well beaten in her previous main track start. So it's proven that she just does not like that surface. Prior to that, she ran some very credible races on turf in maiden special weight company, 4th, 2nd, and 3rd in her previous 3 starts. So I think she's going to be very happy to get back on the grass today.
What I didn't like about this horse, I looked at the bottom of the past performances. I don't see a current workout on this horse. I would like to see a current workout. So I put the horse, for all the reasons you mentioned, I have it on the ticket, but I did not see a workout on that horse since that last performance where it didn't perform well on the off track. Of course, has run well on the turf in the past. The other horse that I use, a horse that you have on your ticket, that's the 10, Pam Pam. Another one sitting, I believe, on a winning performance today after stalking the pace, finishing second in both recent 5-furlong turf sprints, third start of a current form cycle. Maybe today will be that winning affair.
Has a case of second-itis for sure, needs to get over that hump, but you know what, in the past few days we've seen a couple horses break through that have been running second in 3-4 straight starts.
Let's go to race number 8 this afternoon. 5 1/2 furlongs. These are maiden claimers, fillies, 2-year-olds, $25,000. We have 2 scratches in here. Number 12, Tearless, and number 14, Beth, have been declared out of this 8th race. Katie and I both went with the number 11, Regal Madam, and a Regal Madam dropping down today into the maiden claiming ranks on the main track after racing wide in that race and finishing 7th. That was her maiden special weight debut, going 5 furlongs on the turf. Dave Brady, he's pretty good with similar class drops, a limited sampling. He's about 43%, but it's only 3 out of 7. Miguel Vasquez handling the surface switch today. I kept going over this race, and I kept coming back to number 11, Regal Madam. Had to put it on top.
Absolutely. I did the same thing, and you know what? She has a pedigree, and a dirt pedigree at that. She's a half to Rockport Harbor, who won 5 of 8 career starts, earned more than $300,000, and a 2-time graded stakes winner. He, of course, did his best running on dirt.
Well, the morning line favorite in here is the number 8, Art Quick Temper, who's dropping to the $25,000 level, turning back today to this 5.5 furlong distance. Went up last time out, tracked the pace setters, faded to get beat, double-digit lengths, when stretching out to a mile. That was against $35,000 maidens last time out. This is a daughter of exclusive quality, trained by Peter Walder, gets a sort of a vote of confidence when Edgar Zayas rides it back, but I didn't like that performance last time out, so I couldn't put it on top of the ticket. I would not be surprised if the horse rebounds at this shorter distance, but I just figure I'm not going to put it on top, and the reason I kept going back to the number 11.
You know, it was just too far for her last time. I really think she's going to improve on the turn back and also cuts her tag in half, so gets class relief.
And now what about the number 4, the Chief Sauce, who's dropping and turning back slightly?
Well, she's a little bit of a puzzling one, but you know what? If you look at her past performances, there's a pattern of her running on and off, well and not so well. Well, if that pattern holds true and continues today, she's due for a good performance. After duel on the rail throughout in her last race, she faded late to finish 6th. 2 starts back, she came from off the pace to get up for 3rd, so I'm hoping maybe she'll sit in mid-pack today.
Trained by Joe Calchabetta and ridden today by apprentice Harry Hernandez. Good to see Harry back. He got back a couple of weeks ago from an injury, so good to have him back here today running. He's been actually back a few days now. So the 9th race is a 1-mile turf maiden special weight event for 2-year-olds, and we do have a couple of scratches here. Number 6, Casino Rule, and number 11, Magic Sparkle, and number 12, Favorite Air. And want to go back and show you a performance of the horse that both Katie and I have on top of our ticket, and that's the one, Little Nick V, coming out of a sort of a key race.
Absolutely. I didn't need to look at the graphics. I knew you were going to pick this horse as well. This is a true trademark Ron Nicoletti key race. Here's the 6, Little Nick V. He's going to turn in a pretty solid race back on September 12th. He finishes 3rd behind a horse named JR's Holiday, who just finished 3rd, by the way, beating just 3/4 of a length and gaining in the Armed Forces Stakes, as well as Applicator in 2nd, who just came back in his next start to break his own maiden. The 9th place finisher in that race also came back to win. I think this one is due for that today. He may even want more distance by Colonel John out of an APND mare, but I just think that key race sets him up perfectly.
Now, the number 3, Social Stranger from the Todd Pletcher barn, and I mentioned a little earlier on in this analysis, and I've been trying to beat Todd for the last couple of days. Don't know if it's the right thing. Please tell us about this horse.
Well, he's one of 2 Pletcher firsters in this spot. It appears he and uncoupled entrant Flash of Thunder have been working together at Palm Beach Downs. This is the son of Include in an AP Indy mare. It's her first foal to race. Has a strong work pattern, and I think a stronger turf pedigree of the two Pletchers in this spot, even though that one had the opportunity to work on the grass up at the Oklahoma at Saratoga. I like Include as a turf sire, 20% in 2-year-old maiden special weights and 14% with 2-year-olds on turf. So I just like Pletcher firsters, and I thought this one had a nice turf pedigree.
Well, I like the 2 in here, Smart Slew. It's the son of Smart Strike, so I like Smart Strikes on the grass, debuting locally at a mile after closing well to finish 4th. That was in his 7.5 furlong debut. It was up at Delaware Park. Mike Trumbetter is the trainer. Tyler Gaffleone atop this live Oak-Stowed homebred, and Tyler Gaffleone, his last day with the apprentice allowance.
Yeah, he becomes a journeyman tomorrow. I had the chance to speak with him yesterday. He's very excited about it, and he should be. He's been riding well, even winning stakes where he can't use his apprentice allowance, so he should be just fine.
I also used the 4 in here on my ticket. Hyatt's Dude is the son of First Dude, debuting for trainer Michelle Nihei with a really series of consistent workouts up at Palm Meadows, and gets to work on the turf course up there at our training facility.
Yep.
She's okay with first-time starters. I just like the workout pattern. I don't know if this horse can be on top of the ticket, but I'm certainly going to use it somewhere. Ridden today by Luca Panici atop. I think it's an intriguing possibility.
Absolutely. I think this really is a wide open race aside from Little Nick V. I think he's the class of the field. We'll see if anybody else can spoil it.
Let's go to the final race of the afternoon. It's a 1-mile turf event. Claim is 3 and up, $10,000. So far, scratch the 13, 15, and number 16. So all the horses in the body of the race are still going. It looks really like 5. Palace Gate is the one to beat when cutting back to a mile today after shifting down from Mama to use his speed to win his 2nd consecutive race when defeating $12,500 claimers going a mile and a 16th across town. The task is simple with this horse. Catch him and you win. That's it. Go up there, catch him, you win.
I don't think they will.
Who else did you use?
I used Gifted Ruler. This one had a 2-win race streak snapped in his last outing. He got fanned wide, 6 wide around the turn. The first turn from the 13 post in his last race. Obviously drawing much better today.
I used the 2 Global Glow, stretching out to a mile after closing from next to last in his last race to finish 2nd. He was beaten the neck versus similar, going 7.5 furlongs. Lonnie Otterburn was 2 in here, and he also has the 12 horse near Lost Temper, who's my long shot today. Just letting you know that. Keeps it light. He's got apprentice Chris McIntosh in the saddle today. Who else did you use to close this one out?
Well, I'm hoping he doesn't lose unless Palace Gate wins. That would be okay. But Sneaky Kitten has also won 2 races in a row, notched a victory on both turf and dirt for trainer Ron Gaffney. Naturally, as a kitten's joy gelding, relished the turf in his last start. Should be stalking the pace as well. He is stepping up, though, to face open company for the first time in a while.
And don't forget, we have that Canella in the last race. So $5 Canella, it's been paying the last couple of days, paid over $200. So make sure you bet that Quinella and get excited. I mean, I can't believe the payoffs on the things. You know, I didn't have the 3 and the 5 in the last race, I believe it was yesterday, but paid something like $294. So we got some great new wages here at Gulfstream Park West. Of course, we have the early pick 5, which is a mandatory payout. Been very successful, and I can't get over these rolling super high 5s. People are really figuring this out. They wait a couple of races, they get in it, and then boom, when it gets up there, they nail it.
What I really like about the Super High 5 is that it's really a puzzle. So it's a challenging bet. You can play around with it a lot. Love that you can play it now in every race, and certainly the results so far show that it is becoming really popular. Big success.
Good luck, everybody.